Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we find ourselves on the cusp of Disney's big venture into the world of streaming, even courting a war in the process, we thought it'd be nice to stay up to date on the ever-growing catalog and rule on what's a must or a bust on Disney Plus. And tonight we're talking The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 8, Chapter 16, The Rescue, or as I like to call it, oh my god, Luke Skywalker, Luke fucking Skywalker, they did it! They fucking did it! They did it! And it's not Sebastian Stan, oh my god! Oh my god! I'm excited, Dragon.
You know, I feel the Sebastian Stan point at the end was maybe a little unnecessary.
Oh, but Hamill, Dragon, you doubted me that it'd be Hamill. You said there's a chance that we could see Luke, but it'd be someone like a Sebastian Stan or that one Game of Thrones guy that people keep bringing up. It's fucking Hamill, man. I don't care if it looks fake. Dragon, this is like a wrestling match for me, man. And oh my god. Okay, so I am going to just shout out Donovan in the comments. He's kind of chomping at the bits. Also, Atomic Beast. How you doing, Atomic Beast? But Donovan, I honest to God still can't comprehend what I have just witnessed. Dragon, is it safe to say you feel the same way?
I mean, I'm stupefied by it. Basically, if I were to summarize things, we got a Star Wars movie in 45 minutes here, folks, and it's absolutely godsmacking.
And this whole season's been fantastic. I will even say, even the spider episode was great in retrospect. Had some great moments. Had Filoni as the X-wing pilot. It had X-wings being intimidating. Had some of the scariest Star Wars alien action we've ever seen on screen. Dragon, I'm glowing about this season, buddy. I am glowing about this season, and you know I wasn't nearly as high on season 1.
Yep.
Season 1's good, but this one's another level.
Well, again, I think they're both great, but you're right. Season 2 has been kind of hit after hit, and it's been going uphill tremendously. Not there was ever an issue with it or anything, but yes, I mean, my God, for anyone who said, for anyone who's always taken a pot shot at Ant-Man and the Wasp, I say, look what the man can do. Look what Peyton Reed did.
You know what? Peyton Reed has proven Ant-Man and the Wasp to be kind of a fluke.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, this is
Mandalorian is absolutely the first in the Star Wars cinematic universe. Atomic Beast. This is them getting the Star Wars universe right. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, really, I'd be shocked if anyone had a negative word about this episode, because so far, I mean, it was such a great experience too, because the episode just kind of started getting better and better, basically reflected the season so perfectly. Didn't you think? It just kept going up and I'm already satiated now. How can it get any better?
Absolutely. By episode 6, I was just like, oh, this is perfect.
Yep.
All right, so we're riding high. Dragon, do you want to just kind of talk through the Luke reveal and work backwards, or do you want to just build to the Luke reveal? Because we already kind of let that out of the bag right off the bat. It's the internet. Everyone's going to know.
Also, not you, Mr. Oh my God, Luke Skywalker, Mr.
Luke Skywalker, oh my God.
Yeah, it's all called subtlety, Tiki. Maybe we should try it, but sure. I mean, wherever you want to start. I mean, I figure we could build to Luke, but if you want to just jump right into it.
I honestly want to jump right into Luke.
We live in a spoiled generation, but fine, we'll go.
And then we can kind of build around it, because obviously everything else around Luke is great too. But
yeah,
Dragon, I absolutely echo Donovan's experience where as it was happening, I was like, oh, it's an X-wing, but it can't be his X-wing, right? And then oh, it's a green lightsaber. Oh shit! But there's other Jedis with green lightsabers. Oh, dark cloak. Oh, whoa, God, he's got the one hand with the glove. But the whole time it was happening, Dragon, I couldn't allow myself to get my hopes up. You know what I mean?
Okay, let me tell you how. Let me walk you through my experience. It was
hold
similar
on,
to yours.
Really quick. I was just just finish my thoughts. Like, I was just like, the whole time I was like, oh, it's going to be like Ezra or one of those people that I'm not even going to recognize. It's going to be like a big reveal for the fan base, but I'm not going to recognize it. No, just no. I mean, not only that, Dragon, not only that, it's like you think with everything going on, with every fucking thing going on in this scene, Dragon, with the reunion and Din Djarin taking off his helmet and everything, and then they throw R2 into the mix, and it's the most earned R2 cameo ever. Just, to call it like a chef's kiss is just, I feel like chef's kiss doesn't even do it justice.
The chef's made out.
God. All right. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, okay. Let me walk you through my experience. It was similar to yours, but I kind of had
basically. We'll talk all about Gideon. Don't you worry.
Oh, we got a lot to say about Gideon.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So basically, I had again the best way I can just sum up this episode is it's the perfect reflection of the season with rising action in the best senses. It just keeps getting better and better. It's kind of like Endgame. It just keeps getting better as it goes on. It's getting incrementally better, especially by the third act. And here was some summer. So that one X-wing flies by, and initially I'm thinking like we all are. It's like, oh, okay, we're calling back the New Republic, and then like Cara Dune has like, oh, one X-wing, whoopee, we're saved.
right.
And then it's kind of dawning on me.
Can I just say Cara Dune was on fire this episode?
Well, she's always on fire, but yes.
This episode in particular, though, I think this was her standout episode of the season.
I love that bit with the gun in the elevator. It's so funny.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's like, no, I got it. Just excuse me, I'm following the formation here. Okay.
All right.
But that thing is, then of course you realize, like, oh my god, it's the one X-wing. Wait a minute. I mean, could Ahsoka why would Ahsoka be here right now? Wouldn't make any sense because she's into the whole like rescue the kid thing. I mean, she's ignoring the little Jedi call. She told him where to find the rock. So I'm thinking, like, wait a minute, the one X-wing. Nah, we all had that universal. Nah, we all like. No,
right.
Obviously, I mean, again, we prayed and everything, and then maybe the Ahsoka show. But I mean, no, they're not going to be able to. I mean, this has been really impressive season. It's not on the budget, no way. But no. So then I had a moment where once we see the hand and the lightsaber. I have this moment because I'm seeing the hood and everything. I'm thinking, okay, they're building up. Okay, it's a Jedi. Question is who? I mean, again, I'm thinking like, nah, it couldn't possibly be him. But then, the minute we get the green lightsaber, here's the thought that's in my head. What's in my head is, oh my God, Favreau, you genius SOB, you found the loophole. Jedis have robes, which have hoods, which means you don't have to show your lack of Mark Hamill.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Therefore, I'm thinking, so Tiki, my whole read is like I'm thinking, okay, we're probably not going to see his face, but we'll build him up, and we're doing this amazing like kind of Rogue One homage with him in the Darth Vader role, which is beyond awesome.
That. Yes.
It's beyond awesome. And then when he took off the hood, I lost my mind. I had like squeals like a schoolgirl, like oh my God. And then he spoke, and I was like, I'm on the edge of my seat. And he spoke, and it sounds like Mark. Oh my God, look at this.
Yep.
And like, it's so terrifying. Gideon tries to kill himself before facing Luke Skywalker.
Oh my God.
It's like, so folks, we de-aged Mark Hamill in Mando's. Essentially, what they did here, unfortunately, not with Sebastian Stan, but they found an actor who also looks remarkably like Mark Hamill, and they de-aged him. Kind of did the little mirrored performance there, and
they did a deep fake, right?
Well, I mean, that's what people are saying. I don't know if that's necessarily the right term for it, because, I mean, again, it's the way they've been doing it in the Marvel movies. They get an actor who looks remarkably like the actor, then they kind of mix in the two performances. So I assume Mark Hamill was I think Mark Hamill was in on this, and presumably, I can't say if he's doing the voice or not. That I can't pin down. But I don't know 100% how they did this. I'm just assuming Mark Hamill, like, he probably gave a performance for the actor to mirror. Either that or they just played a whole bunch of clips and everything, or possibly they're like a little patch piece like all like the other Luke Skywalker related stuff we do have from young Luke. we did an amalgam of it and just kind of modeled that along with like the actor doing the stand performance. We kind of melted it all together with CG, and it worked wonders.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's we made the impossible happen. We got Luke Skywalker, man, young like Jedi Luke Skywalker, which is always like the big hope, but it never thought it'd be possible.
I'm still processing it, Dragon.
Right? I mean, we all are. It's just it's magic, man. It's just,
Claude, you better believe we're going to be watching the Mandalorian Gallery.
Yeah,
absolutely. Season 1 we thought was one of the best Star Wars documentaries this side of Empire of Dreams.
Yeah. But seriously, the way we handle Luke, and then of course top it all off, we bring in R2D2, and when we bring in R2,
it's so goddamn earned.
You know, I know. Here's why it's earned, though. It's earned because it's like this full circle. It's this wonderful full circle nod to Empire Strikes Back, where, of course, if you recall, I know you recall, was anyone's that it's R2D2 has a really unusual meeting with Yoda, where he was like hitting with a stick and everything. He's very childish, and of course, 40 years later, R2D2 gets to meet another generation of Yoda. And it's this
Luke's rampage is amazing, absolutely.
Honestly, the score the minute Luke shows up to the very ending, it's like Gorasan. This is his best score on an episode ever. I mean, his score has been great this season. It's always been good, but I mean, this is just like it's as people say, it's God tier. This episode, it doesn't get any better. I mean, it's like, oh my God, it's like he mixed in the Star Wars theme as well as his own stuff. It's like this perfect marriage. Yeah.
All right, so with R2, what do you think of the idea that possibly R2 remembers Grogu from way back when on Coruscant?
Well, I mean,
or they remember each other.
Well, okay, I don't think R2 remembers him because they had the memory wipe, so I don't think.
But what if Grogu remembers R2?
No, that's possible. Grogu would remember. So I mean, assuming they had an exchange, I mean, yeah, Grogu probably knows him.
So that's where I felt it was earned.
Oh, right, sure. I mean, that's good. I didn't think about that. I was just thinking about the whole kind of the symbolism of Empire and like these three characters meeting each other in Empire.
Absolutely, yeah.
I thought it was really special. Like, oh my God, that's so sweet. And it's kind of like getting the thumbs. It's like getting the thumbs up from the old school Star Wars to like Mando's doing it.
That I'm still bitter about R2 pretty much being written out of Rise of Skywalker, Dragon. So this was some great R2 love here.
But to be fair, anytime we've revisited R2 and Luke, when there's in a scene together, usually it's a
it's gold. It's gold. Fucking Last Jedi, absolute gold. I don't care what anyone says about the rest of that movie. That moment, that was a cheap move. That thing, fucking gold.
It is. No question.
As good as anything in the original trilogy, in my opinion. That moment.
It's the best scene in that movie. No question.
All right. Anyways, you want to circle back around to some of the other stuff?
Yeah, let's backpedal a little here. Let's talk about some of the lead-up stuff. So.
All right, Boba Fett's just going to put the ship in reverse here.
Right. So, anyway, so we nab Dr. Pershing, and the minute I love this little foreshadow in the rewatch where we bring back. I was already excited because I always loved it from Return of the Jedi. I love the shuttle, like little shuttlecraft with like little flappy wings that they used it's the decoy ship, like we did in Jedi. We pretend to be the Empire until we get through. And we kind of did it again here in a new way, where we board one of these ships and we kind of use it as our Trojan horse. It's a great foreshadow to the big Return of the Jedi connect we're going to have this episode. Kind of a big clue, like, hey, this is from Return of the Jedi. Big clue, but I love it. So speaking of some reunions here, my God, Boba Fett meeting Bo-Katan.
Oh God, yeah, Bo-Katan. I mean, just first of all, Dragon, isn't it crazy that Bo-Katan showing up like it's arguably not even in the top 5 coolest things that's happened this episode?
I know, because again, I was already hyped. Like, oh my God, we brought back Bo-Katan.
I was too. I was just like, oh, Bo-Katan, yay!
And she's meeting Boba Fett. What on earth is going to top this? And of course,
right.
Oh, we still have So yeah, I love one. It's great to see Bo-Katan back in action, but two, I love how Mando. I love the dynamic here. Mando has her number and her respect. On the other hand, though, Boba Fett not so much.
Yeah,
I gotta
absolutely.
tell you, this whole season, especially, I mean, episode 6 and 8, for these two, they really make me want to go back and do a deep dive on Jango Fett, just to remind myself of, like, man, what
I
Jango?
definitely want to do some Clone Wars digging, Dragon. I really do. I really do after this season.
Because here's the thing, it never occurred to me. I think this episode was so brilliant about is that yeah, she would have issues with Jango because Jango essentially sold out his heritage to make himself a clone army.
Right, so that Atomic Beast points out Bo-Katan might have known Jango Fett, hence the hostilities.
Exactly, and again, the whole Death Watch of it all and everything there. So the point being, she's got issues with Django, especially. I don't think the clone troopers helped at all in that sticky wicket at all. Because again, I believe, if I recall correctly, clone troopers did not help the war on Mandalore. Did not help.
But I just love that we're finally acknowledging with Boba Fett, like, yeah, you technically are a clone, even though, god damn, you just gotta love the actor delivers it, just like, I ain't no clone.
I well remember like the really cutting line is my this is my father's armor, and she just has that really cutting line. You mean your donor? It's like,
Oh,
oh
yeah, yeah.
man, boy, I had a way to hurt Boba Fett's feelings, man. I didn't think that was possible. And of course, like she has that great line, like it's almost like the line from it's one of the good things about Rise of Skywalker. It's like the line of I'm the voice of everyone in your head, boy. The Emperor says Kylo Ren, where she says, I've heard your voice thousands of times, which is really cool.
uh
Like she's heard this she knows this guy. So if anyone was in doubt, like absolutely clone kid. If anyone was wondering, like, could it be not a clone? Well, no, clone kid.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, speaking of troopers, we should talk about the Dark Troopers.
Oh my god, talk about, like, the most horror movie-esque, like, stormtroopers ever, right?
They're like unstoppable rock'em sock'em robots. They're just oh, and also the score. I love how the score is like you hear like a rickety sound within the scores that kind of
The
make it even more
percussion is kind of
menacing.
timed to the banging on the doors a little bit.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like everything, the Dark Troopers, I love the conceit where they're slow but precise. They're slow, like they make every move count, and they're coming for you. They're unstoppable. You're not going to be able to stop these guys. They're blaster proof. I mean, even if you apparently they're fireproof, despite they're on ice. I mean, maybe that helps them. I don't know. It's this whole fight, just Mando versus one of these guys, is just giving his
Just
all. I
one
mean,
of them, and I love how that illustrates the stakes, Dragon. That's a great directing choice right there.
and also it brings us back to vulnerable Mando, which we haven't had in a while. I mean, I know we got a little bit last. I'm saying him in the armor is even vulnerable with this. Like we haven't had that since season one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Of course, the helmet punch. Oh my god, he's just going like a rock and sucking robot to Mando's head, and he's like, "Well, it's Beskar. It's not breaking. I'm just going to keep doing it." Ding, ding,
Right.
ding. He's just like, "I'm going to pound him through the wall." Which is, oh god.
Can we talk about how cool the female team up was this episode?
Yes, we may.
Like,
Let's talk.
totally not forced. I really don't think it was forced at all. It just happened to be like we had some awesome female characters, and they just got to get together and kick some ass, and it did indeed kick ass.
I mean, we have Fennec Sand. We had Fennec Shand. We got her set up. We got Cara Dune. We got our Mando. We got a Lady
Uh-huh.
Mando. Let's do it, man. Yeah, they were awesome.
I mean, like I said, Cara Dune, especially Fennec, I think is gaining a presence for herself slowly, and of course, we'll get into what
Hmm.
she's up to later.
She had a really great moment during that scene. But we'll get there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. God.
All right, let's
Um,
see. Yeah.
so yeah, overall, just I love the we set up the stakes quite well. Where Bo-Katan wants the dark saber, obviously Din Djarin wants the child, and essentially Moff Gideon just wants to maintain control.
Yes, he does. The big that showdown, Tiki. It's so fantastic.
Oh, we
Mando
knew it
versus
was coming, and
we
in
did.
spite of that, I still just squealed like a giddy goddamn schoolgirl when it happened.
I tell you, Giancarlo. He's been a gift to the series, man. He's just so we use him so sparingly, but we use him
Let me
to the
tell you what I
fullest.
love about Giancarlo this episode in particular. All right, so Gus Fring, no matter, and for, by all intents and purposes, I would say up until then, Giancarlo's basically just kind of been channeling his Gus Fring when it comes to Moff Gideon. He's basically playing his like Moff Gideon meets an Imperial, Gus Fring meets an Imperial officer, which is not a bad thing at all. But Dragon, we did not see Gus Fring lose his cool like this.
No, we didn't.
And that is the difference, and that is the cool thing that Giancarlo brings to the table with his performance. Oh my god, he is just completely at another level of just totally vulnerable this episode, and I love it.
Okay, let me tell you what I loved about this showdown. These two finally squaring off after all the buildup is that we really showcased what we kind of got a very small glimpse of in the first season, where these two guys they are arch nemesis. You know, he's very much Mando's Joker, and I loved it. Where he's very chatty, where Mando is very stoic. You know, he's not all about you know. Gideon loves the talk and he loves the gloat and he loves like rubbing it in your face that he's out to thunk you. You know, it says, assume that I know all. Assume that I know everything. Assume that I know, like, he knew this trap was coming. That's why he's here instead of on the bridge avoiding the death from your savage friends.
Uh-huh.
It's the whole thing. I know you've used your one, basically you use like the little the whistlers, the little firing thing from your wrist. And I just love all that, and I love how he uses the, as you say, we kind of use the all business fake out to get to him, kind of going cut loose on Mando, where it's the ultimate subversion of you get Giancarlo Esposito, the dude we know him best for, and we have this cordial moment between the two of them, where he says, take the child. I'll keep the Darksaber. You keep the child. Well, again, I know Mando kind of puts that forward, but the point being is like, I already got the blood that I needed from him. Take him. I can see the bond. Again, he's kind of complimenting Mando. It's like, I see the bond between you is genuine. He's kind of giving like advice, like, hey, someone very powerful in your disposal here. Be careful with him. It just seems like that's a little too easy, but I'm digging the respect he's kind of laying out on Mando here.
Right,
Which then the moment he turns around, then he's going for the kill. So again, we subvert like the actual. Again, knowing Giancarlo Esposito, you think, okay, it's actually gonna go down like this. But then you remember, oh God, no, this isn't Breaking Bad. This is going to go this way.
right.
Like, oh my God, yeah, logically, but you fell for it. We all fell for it.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's just genius. Then we have this awesome fight with the pure Beskar, the only thing that can stand up to the Darksaber.
Which, I mean, like I said, we all knew it was coming as soon as that spear was introduced, and still I was giddy.
And then, just the thing that really makes Gideon kind of sets up Gideon to be Mando's Joker, be his arch nemesis, is the fact that as we've kind of set up with the whole Darksaber role, I really get to explore in this one glorious scene once he's captured, which I love. Mando going into the little saunter of like, he's got the Darksaber, he's got Baby Yoda, and he's got Gideon in cuffs. Man, it's a banner day for Mando.
What's funny, Dragon?
What?
Going into this episode, I didn't know what the spoiler was, of course. But I did just see the whole, like, oh my God, I can't believe they went there. So fucking shocked. Oh my God, holy shit. And Dragon, you kept drilling into my head, like, well, Pedro Pascal doesn't have to come back. So, Dragon, this whole time watching this episode, like, up until Luke actually shows up, I thought the shocking moment was going to be them killing Mando.
Because you saw him hide the gun.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're thinking if he takes his mask off, he's going to get shot in the face, didn't you?
Right. So yeah, I was like totally like I was expecting the worst for our Mandalorian friend here, Dragon.
Well, anyway, so back to my thing with Gideon. So again, I love that Gideon, his big ace up his sleeve here, where his thing is that he knows the Mandalorian culture better than our Mando. He knows it better than him. He knows like he knows the whole like how to rule Mandalore and everything. He knows like the rules of the Darksaber, and I love that he's so cocky about the reveals. Oh, do you want to tell him or should I? Just saying. Oh, you can only earn the Darksaber in battle if you want to rule Mandalore. That's the only way you can own the Darksaber, which is just. And I love how he relishes it so much. And it's so Joker. It's so arch nemesis like. It's like I got the last laugh. You didn't kill me, so I get to bear witness and watch your folly here. This is amazing. And just seeing that Bo-Katan, you're in league with Bo-Katan. And she's going to have to kill you, or at least have to go into battle with you. And I love that we just have I love we address the cheat too, where it's like Mando very logically. I think we would all complain about this if it wasn't there. If he just kind of walked up to her and says, well, "I yield. Here you go." It's like, I don't want this thing. You take it. But we call it, no, it doesn't work that way. Has to be in battle, and she knows it, and she says it's right. Before we can linger any of that, then enter Luke Skywalker, and the episode gets even better. I'm already hooked on that moment. Like, oh my god, that's so genius! This is amazing. But the thing we've kind of glossed over the big goodbye, the big unmasking of like
we didn't gloss over it, right? We were building it too. We were building to it. All right.
Yeah.
And it's man, it's pretty goddamn tear jerking, I gotta say. And I love how we're not quite there yet in terms of like Din Djarin. Like, I don't think he's just gonna be walking around willy-nilly without the helmet. But we've absolutely got him to a place this season where he will take it off if necessary.
Exactly, but I'm saying this is like the first time he himself gets to choose, like he wants to show his face to this kid.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Kind of special.
Yeah, definitely got me in the feels, Dragon.
And then again, Gorasan's score over basically when Luke enters the episode to the ending and all sorts of whether it's be the action segment of it or just kind of the emotional goodbye and just the ending on that shot of like all of them just kind of like watching the elevator door close. And just the unmasked Mando, and again, he's also unmasked himself in front of Luke Skywalker. I love that we kind of saved like a proper, kind of a proper unmasking of his own volition, versus like kind of making like a live or die choice for the child in the episode earlier. It's a big. We're not just double dipping, I mean, it's like we're making it count. But yeah, it's a huge moment. Again, it's just seeing that again. It's so heartbreaking to see these two go. And again, I love the bit where Baby Yoda could have been in the picture, but he gives him permission to go. And although Luke kind of points this out to him, says like, no, go with him. And the kid could not be in better hands. I know that much. Well, better hand, but So yeah, that's great, and again, a big emotional way to go. And what I love so much about this too is that's essentially the end of our big Baby Yoda story. Technically, it feels like, again, it feels like we don't necessarily need any more because it's such an impactful thing.
I think we need more just because we know where Luke's Jedi Academy is going to end up, and we certainly hope that Baby Yoda does not meet that fate.
Well, that is true, but I don't even know if Kylo Ren's been born yet. That's the thing. I mean, how old? No, I don't want to get into the whole number semantics. He might be a kid, maybe. I don't know the point.
Well, I'm just saying, like, maybe in the Ahsoka show, maybe there's going to be a time jump somewhere down the line. I just want to ensure that he escaped Kylo Ren, Dragon. I just want to know.
Right. But still, I mean, again, it's but you're right.
Jedi purge that poor Grogu's been involved in.
What I'm saying is, maybe some transition before I get into some speculation, but where we might be going here. So let's talk about. So again, I was what I guess I'm getting at here is that we had a really solid ending, and what kind of extenuated that was a really solid ending, kind of almost at least definitive for a spell. I know there's more to story to tell with the whole Mandalore, all the whole Darksaber. Clearly, there's more story to tell, but. We didn't have the concept art at the end. We just had like straight credits. And again, something was kind of amiss there. Like, yeah, well, it's kind of a shame we didn't have our little. That's why we're our kind of our image of choice here, folks. Is not like the concept art we've been going with all this season. But get to the end, and I was kind of fast forward. I wonder if there's anything at the end because there's a lot of time left. And boy, oh boy, was there something.
So, goddamn, Dragon, I'm a big Jabba the Hutt fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know this.
I do.
So, seeing Jabba's palace again, it was magical. It was magical. I mean, it felt so right.
I just thought it was genius to make Fat Bib Fortuna that he's basically usurping Jabba's throne.
The fact that Bib Fortuna is like. He's like turning into a Hutt dragon. I fucking love it. I love it.
God, and of course
he doesn't miss a beat. He's just like, Boba, I thought you were dead.
Did you catch they worked in McClunky?
Yes, I did. Oh God, so fucking good. Like, I love it.
I love with Fennec Shand
for this are just endless.
All right, so with Fennec Shand, I love that she comes in. Of course, the wonderful Ming-Na Wen. I love how she just comes in there. We have of all the PC calls that we're doing with these days, I thought this is a really classy one. I really like this, where She comes in there. You have like everyone else can run away, but the slave girl, who's the poor slave girl who's chained to the throne.
Uh-huh.
And Fennec Shand shoots the chain and gives like a little friendly nod of like, yeah, get out of here, man. You're okay. That's what I'm saying. That's
I
like
also
such a
love
great
the
call
moment
out of like,
when Boba takes the throne and then she just like takes the big swig from whatever alien drink that is.
a blue alien drink.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, I'm just saying though, I like the whole just like, hey, we're it was times have changed, but you know what? I always felt bad for the slave girls in those movies. Like let them go, let them kill them off, let them go. But yeah, so Boba Fett is taking the throne. He's in charge of Jabba's palace now. He's kind of the new crime boss of Tatooine. That's huge. And as if it could get again, Tiki, could it get any better? Here's what we reveal: the Book of Boba Fett coming December 2021. Now, I assume you're going to interpret this like I have. So presumably, given that we know Mandalorian season 3 was announced for 2021 in December, I assume what we're going to do is we're going to take a break from the Din Djarin story for a season. We know there's a fourth season coming, if I recall. I believe we know there's a fourth season coming.
Dragon,
And
I've heard more reports that this is going to be an additional like mini series or movie.
Tiki, if it were any other month, I'd believe that. That was my initial thought when I saw it
I don't
pop
know.
up.
I still think we're on the fence about it. I don't think we know for sure because that was my initial reaction. Was the one that you had like, oh, okay, season 3 of Mandalorian is going to be the Book of Boba Fett. Awesome. But honestly, Dragon, like it seems to me like most of the fan base is convinced it's like, oh, this means we're getting a standalone Boba Fett show called the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. When it first popped up, I was thinking like, "Oh, those geniuses at that Disney investor meeting, they left off the best one. Everyone's going
That's
to be
what I was thinking.
clamoring."
Yeah,
But then it kind of occurred to me, wait a minute, December 2021, it's the same time, and he again the whole we kind of raised the Mandalorian question here. She says you're not a Mandalorian. Basically, she's kind of clonus towards Boba Fett. Like whether he's a foundling or not, it seems more so like you're not a real person, therefore you don't count. Therefore, you're not really a Mandalorian.
yeah.
So that's the thing. I thought basically my assumption is that season 3 is going to be that in season 4. I mean, look, if they want to do an extra show on the side, I'm by all means I'll take it. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying. But I just feel I mean either that or there's a chance they could make it shorter. It could be a shorter supplemental addition to the next
Or like
season.
they do the hero style and split it up into 2 half seasons.
Well, I mean, let's not get crazy, but sure. I mean, it could work, I guess. I'm just saying, like
Book of Luke and the Book of Boba Fett.
in the. I mean, sure. I'm just saying like maybe here's not the best comparison, but yeah,
Well, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Heroes, to be fair, was one of the first serialized shows to do something like that.
Right, right.
The result
Uh,
wasn't great, but still.
right. Oh, anyway, so my thought process was again, you just assume season 3 is the book of Boba Fett as your season. Season 4 would be Bo-Katan's season featuring Armando with that whole the whole Darksaber story. So that's how we continue things.
Yeah, we absolutely need some sort of continuation with the Darksaber. I wouldn't be surprised if season 3 is indeed the Book of Boba Fett. That we at least get some sort of resolution with Din Djarin and the Darksaber
Yeah,
by
yeah.
the end. Like I'm sure Din Djarin will pop up.
I mean, it could, but wouldn't it be impressive though if they confirm there's a fourth one come with Bo-Katan and we do like that's how we get our Darksaber stuff. But again, so we're getting a lot of
I
Boba
mean,
Fett.
possibly, but that'd be a long time to wait to resolve that Darksaber thing.
I guess it depends where they're going to come down on how
Not to mention, you would think that Bo-Katan and Boba Fett would be like a major deal, the two of them.
Well, it is speculated by Atomic Beast here that it's possible Boba Fett might lead a faction of Mandalorians against Bo-Katan. Which I mean, it's a good question. What the heck does Boba Fett want now that he's out of the Sarlacc pit? Because we know he's still kind of in the bounty hunting lifestyle, which now he's kind of a kingpin of it. It would seem becoming the new hot guy. But yeah, I mean, he does have kind of an axe to grind with Bo-Katan, but I don't know if he's really interested in the whole Mandalore thing. He's going to write the planet off. So I don't know if he really wants to go up against Bo-Katan.
I don't know.
He's got an axe to grind though, so who knows? Oh, one other thing I want to speculate on real quick. With Dr. Pershing at the top of this episode, something occurred to me. I mean, I know it was kind of flirted around earlier when we saw like episode 4. with the lab facility. I think, given all the first order stuff we've hinted at this season, I think the end result is going to be Baby Yoda was the last key component in the creation of Snoke as the force sensitive figurehead of the First Order, which is going to give the Empire its comeback.
Oh
If
boy.
they bring back a new Emperor figure via Snoke, which we saw some weird Snokish looking stuff in the tank, Baby Yoda providing him, we already got what we need from Baby Yoda with the midichlorians. Therefore, I think we made our figurehead. We found the process to make a figurehead.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. That's what I'm coming down on. That's my big theory in terms of like how we're going to bridge between those two things.
And I just have two more words for you in terms of speculation.
Yeah.
Cobb Vanth.
Oh yeah, that's on. Yes, yeah. There's an idea. Yeah, it's on Tatooine. That's a good. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great
we're on
idea.
Tatooine. Cobb Vanth is kind of trying to restore order to Tatooine.
Mhm.
Boba Fett's trying to kind of like maintain that sort of like gangster profile that it has. And not to mention they have the unresolved thing with the armor.
Yeah, yeah. It's I'm
Like I
loving.
am sure with Boba Fett hounding Tatooine all those years or however long it was, he knew who had his armor.
Atomic Beast raises an interesting question that again may or may not be answered in a third season or a fourth season, depending on how they're going to approach this whole Book of Boba thing. But he says even though Bo-Katan considers Din Djarin, a Mandalorian, will she be able to follow someone who is a foundling? And honestly, again, Atomic Beast, I don't know if the foundling thing is her gripe. I think it's more the clone thing with Boba Fett. I don't think she necessarily has a problem with him being a foundling, but I mean, then again, the whole I love Boba Fett's barb towards her calling her a princess because she is technically a princess, which is really funny. But it's an interesting point though, because again, she is like literally the next in line for the throne. She's like a pure blood Mandalorian, essentially. I know the whole Mandalorians, it's a creed, not a people, but there's some semantical stuff there. Again, you gotta watch the Clone Wars to kind of snuff it out if you really want to make it form an opinion on that, I guess. But it is interesting. I didn't really think of it that way. So
Mm. Okay. I think that's about it, Dragon.
That's about it. Again, just overall, very impressed, and kudos to Peyton Reed. Anyone who said no, never get him on a Fantastic Four movie. I hope everyone eats their words now.
All right. Yeah, I just think it's I am a fan. I have been served, to quote Kevin Smith. I mean, it's wall-to-wall action with some great fan service thrown in, but you know what? At the end of the day, that's kind of what this show is all about. I do have one reservation that Dan Murrell mentioned in his review, in that like this is the first time that we're kind of like going back to established mythology that we kind of like know where it ends up with the Grogu going to Luke thing. So that's my one little worry where it's like, okay, like now that we know that the Luke thing is eventually going to end in a disaster, how are we going to handle that in terms of the timeline? It's a little bit of a limitation, Dragon. It's kind of like a very, very cool Jennifer in the back of the car.
Oh, I got this one thing I've been trying to bring up the whole season, but I keep forgetting about it. So I'm going to get in before we end the season.
Okay.
There's one gripe. This one thing that we set up in the first season, Amanda, that never paid off this season. I don't know why. Baby Yoda's necklace, the little necklace that was supposed to get him into like the Mando covet. I mean, I guess it's because we didn't run any other Mandos, but it's just like, why did we establish that if we're not going to? I mean, I guess it's when we do the whole Paz Vizsla thing, perhaps. I mean, I guess, but it just feels like that was a big moment at the end of like we gave Baby Yoda a little necklace. They made so many little Baby Yoda figures, little necklace on it. I just like nothing happened with it this season. We didn't show it. We didn't do anything with it.
Right.
You remember the necklace thing, right? The little,
yeah, I do.
Supposedly the little covets. If we find anyway, well. The deal with that was if it doesn't pay off in the next, whenever we get back to that story, because I'm convinced we are going to see Baby Yoda again. I don't think it's going to be next season, but I think we are going to see him again.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And also, Tom P says, thank you for this, guys. May the force be with you. Yes, and with you.
All right. Yeah, thanks to Atomic Beast, Donovan Martin, and Claude Coringa for joining us. All right, that'll do it for us this week as we holster our remotes till the next installment calls for the draw. Mano y mano! just Plus and Us. Oh my god, it's Luke Skywalker! Oh my god!